going to be making a pesto. Has anyone made pesto from scratch before? Yeah, fantastic, lovely, it's fresh. This, again, is the time of year. We're growing tons of basil in our garden, so we try to save that as much as we can throughout the year, and pestos are a great way to sort of save that freshness. You can do this with any herb, so if you like parsley, if you like cilantro, if you like mint, go with whatever you want. You can sort of customize it, change it up a little bit. This is super easy. So we're going to start off with a clove of garlic, whole, that's in. Some almonds, about a quarter cup of almonds. You don't have to use nuts. I just like the flavor with the nuts, but it's more of a preference thing. We have some lemon zest. So again, using the whole lemon, saving that zest. Zest also freezes really well, and the juice also freezes well. Freeze everything.
So by deep freeze?
Yeah.
By the time?
Yeah. And some, actually, sorry, not liquids yet. So we have the lemon zest, the garlic, and the almonds. And we're going to buzz this up a little bit. Might get a little loud in the front. Nice. So just until it breaks up the almonds a little bit. Can you guys see that? Yeah. Fantastic. Can you smell it? I don't know if you can smell it yet. It's delayed. The garlic just hit me in the face. It's going to take some time. So now the basil goes in. Fresh herbs, a nice bunch of basil. The amount that I put on that recipe will fill up one Ziploc bag full. But like I said, if you have a ton of basil or parsley or herbs, double the recipe, triple the recipe. Question. Basil goes in. We're going to add lemon juice. I'm putting a little extra lemon juice because this is a lemon almond pesto. I want to taste that lemon in there. So lemon juice goes in, and olive oil. Half a cup might seem like a lot of olive oil. Do not eat this entire bag of pesto in one sitting. But we're going to use our freezer. Perfect. So that's our pesto. This is going to go into, I like doing them in the freezer bags. You mentioned in the ice cube trays too. You can definitely do it. Yes, you can definitely do it in the ice cube trays. And so this goes in. What I like doing, why I like doing it in the freezer bags is because I can press them flat into a freezer, and it saves me a lot of space. So scrape down everything. Again, this is why it's good to have a friend to help you out. They can hold the bag. I think I'll be okay here, but let's see. If I make a mess, you can save me. So pesto in. And this is just a small batch, but I mean, this is something I take from my mom, and I remember the whole freezer full of just sleeves of pesto. So make a bunch for sure. And this is a big bag for this, but essentially what you want to do is flatten it out. So it's nice and thin, not too thin, and remove as much air as possible. So nice and flat, much air as possible. Fold up the empty parts and then seal. And then this goes into the freezer. And then you're ready to make a very quick sauce just by chipping off a piece of the pesto. I'll show you in a second. All right. So this goes into the freezer, and then this is what it looks like after, right? See how fast that was? So these are, again, this is a great technique, quantity cooking, and you can, anytime you want to make a quick sauce, you can throw this in some couscous and some barley. If you want to add it to a soup to give it some more flavor, if you want to add it to a hummus to really brighten it up a little bit, great ingredient to have on hand. And you know what's in this, which is what I like. I know they sell the pesto jars. The one you make is always going to taste better, right? So there's our pesto.
Wow.
Pretty simple, pretty straightforward.
And you just crack it off?
Yeah, I'll show you. Let me put this back in the freezer. Just multitasking here. So yes, I'd open it up. I already used some to make the pasta earlier, but then I would just snap it, and whatever amount I need, you just take a chunk off, and I'll throw it into my pan, or again, soup pot, whatever I want to use it for. And that goes back in the freezer. This, again, this could last you the entire season until, as long as you make enough. If it's that good, you'll probably go through it a lot quicker too, right? All right, so that goes in the freezer. And we have so much time left over, so you probably want to make your own pasta after that, right? But if you want to make your own pasta, has anyone made their own pasta before? Some people, yeah, it's super, super easy. That's why I just want to show you quickly, because you might be inclined to make your own quickly. So we have some flour here. The recipe I gave you, it's for like an all-purpose flour. You can use whatever you want. Just keep in mind, the more whole, like if it's a whole wheat or whole grain flour, it's going to absorb a lot more water. So you just want to sort of adjust a little bit in terms of how much flour. I would add a little bit less flour if you're using a whole grain. So I have some spelt flour in here and some all-purpose flour. So flour goes into a bowl.
You see that spelt?
I have a little bit of spelt and just a little bit of all-purpose flour. In the bowl, I make a little well. And add half a cup of water and 1 egg. So if you wanted the pasta to be nice and red, you can add a little bit of tomato paste. Or if you wanted to create a green pasta, you can even add some of that pesto. Just sort of warm it up till it's liquidy and mix it into the pasta. Really, really, really tasty. So we're going to whisk the water and the egg, and then slowly make your circles a little bit bigger, and that brings in the flour from the outside. And you just try to do as much as possible with your fork, but you're gonna have to jump in. This is one of those recipes that you're gonna have to get dirty for. Does anyone want to volunteer to get their hands in? Probably not the best way to sell it, I should have. And so I'm going to transfer over to this board. I'm going to try to take the camera with me. Whoa. And see how easy that was? Like I already have my pasta dough here. And then we're just going to keep kneading. And what I do is, you're going to need a little bit more flour as you knead. Because it continues to get a little bit more moist. But what I'm doing is I'm grabbing a piece on the front, lifting it up, and then bringing it into itself and pushing through with my palm. So up, pushing through with my palm. You guys see that?
Can you over-knead this?
Not really. You want to make it nice and strong. You just keep kneading until you get this nice ball of dough. That's it. There's our pasta dough. This also freezes really well. There's a theme throughout today's class. Everything freezes really well. This wrap up in some plastic wrap or cover it in the bowl and put it into the fridge just to firm up a little bit. And this one has been in the fridge for a little while. So there's just a little piece. And so it's the spelt flour. Yeah, the spelt flour makes it a little dark, for sure. And now it's just like having fun. So when we were a kid with Play-Doh, and we're just gonna roll it out. If we were making linguine or a long pasta, we would flatten it out with a rolling pin, or if you have a machine. For today's recipe, can you guys read the pasta that we're making? Cavatelli, perfect. Very good. So cavatelli is kind of like, has a little bit of a groove inside, almost like a little shell. And what we do is, after it's about 1/2 inch thick, give or take, we cut the rope up into these little nuggets like this. So there's another pasta that you would make almost and bring it to this point. Does anyone recognize it? Gnocchi, yes. So a different dough, but similar process. So you break it up into all these little nuggets. And this is a fun one. And yes, you can buy pasta and you can just make it yourself. It'd be a lot quicker. But it's not as fun, for sure. Fork, I'm using the back of this grater. It works just as well. And what we do is we take one of these little pieces, and then with your index finger, we push it in to the board and roll it up. And that's it, and let it fall. And what you have is, on one side, it's got this concave, yes, zoom in, yeah. So concave, and then on the other side, you have this sort of ridged texture. And that's what we're looking for with the cavatelli. Does anyone want to try it? Again, a little flour on the outside. We're going to press it in with the index finger, let it roll up, and let it roll off. And then we have a cavatelli. These also freeze really well, yes. So we're going to boil this. And fresh pasta doesn't take that long to cook. A good sign is once they start floating, then give it about another minute or so. And you can actually just try it, taste it. That's the best way.
So those were from frozen?
Those are from frozen, yes. Yeah, so those will take a little bit longer, but again, you're just looking for them to float. Once they start floating, then I'll give it another minute on top of that. So for the sauce, again, we're gonna finish up our pasta dish here. Really, really simple. We've got our pesto in here. I'm actually gonna add a bit more. That's it. So we have pesto. If you weren't making your own pasta, or if you wanted to do rice, you would just obviously cook it and then dress it. So the starch from the pasta water actually helps to thicken up the sauce. And it gives it a little bit more body, a little bit of liquid in here. We're just gonna stir it around. And you're gonna make everybody jealous if you start making your own pesto and pasta. Top of there too. And this is how we serve it at home. Just a little bit of the fresh ricotta. Not too much. Pieces on top of that. And that's it. There's our fresh cavatelli with almond pesto.